Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Michigan church fiasco. Shooting, arson, whatever you want to call it, but it's an attack on innocent people who were simply attending church. First, guys, go check out my friends at Attorneys on Retainer.
We were at a barbecue, and it was getting crazy. When he started running at me, reached for the back of his pants. I just pulled out my firearm. Once the target was down so that he's not a threat anymore, I just called you guys.
The majority of programs immediately exclude you if you happen to be in a gun-free zone at the time that the incident occurs.
The strike force was called. If that doesn't happen in this case, he's still sitting at Rikers Island today.
Lawyers are like real-life superheroes because you can give people a chance to really get a second chance in life.
Folks, I use Attorneys on Retainer, and I suggest you do too if you carry a firearm or you do anything to protect your family. Use my code FTATF for a discount at sign-up.
A shooting at a church. This after what the FBI is calling an act of targeted violence on Sunday services, leaving 4 people dead.
Laura Sandlin joins us live from where the incident took place. So, Laura, what do we know at this hour?
Tim, Kaylee, yesterday, the Grand Blanc Township Police Chief identified the suspect as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford. Hundreds of people were gathered inside of the church yesterday at the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township when the violence began late Sunday morning, according to the chief. He said Sanford rammed a pickup truck through the church's front doors, got out, and started shooting before allegedly setting the building on fire. The suspect then fled the church on foot and was pursued by 2 officers, one from the DNR and another from the Grand Blanc Township Police Department. The officers engaged in gunfire with Sanford in the parking lot behind their church, who was shot and killed at the scene. In total, 10 victims were shot, including 2 of the victims and the shooter. It's unclear how the other victims died at this time. Police believe that there still could be additional victims who are trapped inside the building when the fire broke out. He said that one of the wounded people was in critical condition and 7 others were stable.
The entire church has not been cleared because it's a total loss due to the fire. So these first responders right now, they're in recovery mode. They're trying to fight through all the debris from the fire.
Investigators are searching for an example.
As of yesterday evening, investigators were still working to clear the church, which was described as a total loss. It also remained unclear how many people were unaccounted for. Authorities did not provide any additional details about the suspect, including whether or not he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, widely known as the Mormon Church.
I think this is one of ours, and when I say ours, I mean not a wacko on the far left. He had 2 American flags. If it was one of them, it would have been a gay flag or a trans flag or an Antifa flag. None of them are proud of the American flag, so it makes me think this is going to have to be one that we accept as being a more right-leaning person. So I just want to make that really clear. And oddly enough, after all this, and we know it wasn't from this guy, bomb threats lit up the phone lines across the area immediately after that. That's a very strange occurrence. I mean, we hear it all the time, lone wolf, and then things like this pop off, and we're like, are these just kids doing stupid stuff on the heels of something like this? Or is it more of a loosely concerted effort with other people involved, or at least maybe having knowledge of the incident or what the guy had planned to do? Very strange that there were these bomb threats immediately after at other churches. That did not happen prior to that. But we're all sitting here thinking, what's the motive? Video popped up over the last couple days of a guy who canvasses the area for political reasons. He actually spoke to this guy, the killer. He went to his house, engaged with the guy, and the guy started spouting off. This is how we have a really good understanding of what the motive is. Started spouting off about Mormons being the Antichrist. Check this video out.
You came to the realization that you say that you talked to the person who did this horrible thing in Grand Blanc Township?
I did last week. It was Wednesday or Thursday. I'm running for city council and I'm canvassing, and I had an address on my map that I went to, and I came across a gentleman. He was very friendly, and he had interacted positively with me, and we got out of the vehicle. We started just to talk, and after a short while, the conversation went to the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism, and he just made the position multiple times that Mormons are the Antichrist. And he, in not so many terms, said that several times. He gave me his background, but I just walked away from a person who had some very sharp views about Mormons.
Yeah, so you were just out campaigning for the election in November coming up, I'm assuming?
That is correct.
And so you're just shaking hands, looking to meet people. You come across his door. Have you matched it up? Is it the address the same as this person? Have you looked?
It is, yes. I mean, it is not only the address, but it's also the person that I spoke with. I have a friend in Utah who is involved with the LDS church. I sent him a voice message saying I had a conversation with a person who had very sharp views. And it's just like you come across a lot of different people while you campaign.
Yeah.
And I shared this with him on Friday. And then we had our Sunday dinner and I ended up seeing a photo. That was the exact guy I spoke to last week.
So you saw the guy, and I'm not gonna, the shooter, you saw his picture on the news or on social media, and what was your first reaction?
Shock. I mean, to have just interacted with a person who, again, he had very sharp views. And when we first started speaking, very positive, we just made just general chit chat. And then he went to his background, how he was a Marine. He had served overseas. And again, I'm going to paraphrase because I'm just going from memory, but he, to start new, had moved out to Utah to plow snow. He then began a relationship with a woman who was in the LDS church. And then the conversation changed to tattoos, which he had a lot of, and how he had to have all his tattoos removed in order to be, for certain religious ceremonies. And it was just a piece where I was very careful how I answered, because it's one of those things where I did not know what response was going to be acceptable to him. And so it's a case of like, I just wanted to get off the door and away from him. For whatever reason, the conversation shifted from chit chat into what are your thoughts about the Church of Latter-day Saints, just views that were shared. And again, I mean, what I just walked away from was a person who was very animated and mentioned that, for lack of a better term, that Mormons were the Antichrist.
You are 100% sure this is the same individual you talked to. Was it last week?
Yes, it was last Wednesday or Thursday. Dave, 1,000,000% I spoke with him.
So I live in South Louisiana, not a ton of Mormons in this area. It's just not known for being a settlement of Latter-day Saints or Mormons, whatever you want to call them now. But the hatred for Mormons, as I was digging into this story, is a lot deeper and a lot more prevalent than what you would think. If you dig deep, the hatred boils down to them being the ultimate religious outsiders in America's Bible-thumping circus. The religion was founded by Joseph Smith in the 1930s, a guy who claimed he found golden plates from God in upstate New York and translated them into the Book of Mormon. I'm not picking a side here, but they certainly have a wild doctrine over there, like God being a former human who leveled up, multiple heavens, secret temple rituals with magic underwear. Yeah, that's what critics call their sacred garments. And a history of polygamy that ditched in the 1890s but still gets dragged up like an ex's drunk text when you least expect it. Now, I'm not going to get deep into the weeds to this because that's not directly relevant to this story. It may be indirectly relevant. There are troubling rituals that are reported within this religion, if you want to call it that. Certainly not justifying the guy's motive in any kind of way. But you have to understand how deep this hatred is and what it's based on to kind of wrap your head around somebody who might be flimsy in the mind, in other words, easy to manipulate. How looking at some of the things that run deep as far as hatred against the Mormons might actually affect somebody like this who might see themselves as a really devout Christian and turn that hate towards somebody that he feels like, or satanic, like he said, the Antichrist, like he said, and feel like he's making a difference by doing what he did. Evangelical groups pump out books, podcasts, and counter-cult ministries calling Mormons deceptive wolves in sheep's clothing. Some churches have actually dedicated anti-Mormon classes for Sunday school. I'm not even going to get into the oddness of the treasure hunting scams of Mr. Smith himself, or the very, let's just call it racism in the Mormon religion, where they actually would not allow a black priest until 1978, if you can believe that. Now, speaking of paranoia, let's talk about that eerie coincidence with the North Carolina shooter that shot from a boat. Just 24 hours earlier, another 40-year-old Iraq War Marine veteran, Nigel Max Edge, pulls up to a waterfront bar in Southport, North Carolina on a boat, hops off, opens fire at the American Fish Company. 3 people are dead. The killer in this case was wounded in Iraq, just like Sanford deployed to Al-Fallujah. Both ex-Marines, both hitting crowded spots with no clear ties between them. What the F, guys? Is this some kind of glitch in the Matrix that we weren't supposed to see? Or is there some kind of weird thing going on that we're not supposed to notice? Now back to the Michigan killer. His politics. The media is tripping over themselves to paint him as some MAGA nut because there was a Trump sign at his house weirdly grouped with a stop sign, like a redneck art installation by this dude. And the Democrats are giddy that this ain't one of their own. You know, old Representative Swalwell, the one who was banging the Chinese spy and the one who farts on live TV. He actually shared a doctored ex-post. Here's the original picture of the killer without Trump stuff on his shirt. And here's what Swalwell decided he would share as truth with the doctored photo with the Trump insignia on the front of his t-shirt. Now this clown, Swalwell, has been corrected since then, but the post is still up. That's how they operate. Even when they know something is a lie, as long as they can ride it out, they know that a lot of people who vote for them are stupid and won't do any real research, and eventually that lie stays a truth because nobody does anything about it. They don't correct their own lies. Finally, you guys know my research into these, quote, mass shootings, right? The Gun Violence Archive says that this was the 324th mass shooting in 2025. Really? Do you even slightly remotely in a drunken stupor believe that there have been 324 situations like this one, where some guy randomly shows up and indiscriminately starts shooting people trying to amass the biggest body count possible? Do you think or believe, even if you were in a coma for most of 2025, would you wake up and go, I would believe that we had 324? We haven't. It's because it's a lie. It's because they reclassify and say, as long as 4 or more people were shot or injured at one of these situations, it qualifies as a, quote, mass shooting. What they're trying to do is, and again, I spell it out very plainly in my book, Damn Liars, they're trying to instill fear in us. They want us to believe that there are 324 cases like this guy busting into a church and indiscriminately killing as many people as he can. We know that's not true. We know that the vast majority at 324, probably 300, are bar fights, gang fights, dope deals going bad. It's people who, it isn't a random thing. They know their people. It's clashes, it's beefs on the street. We know what cities and communities they all happen in, the same ones. That's where you have probably 300 gang type shootings where you had a beef of some sort. Maybe, if I had to put my pen to it, I have not been following the Gun Violence Archive's lies as much as I used to in the past. I would guess that there's probably been, based on history, maybe 6 of these type shootings, maybe 8 at the most at this point. Not 324. That's a lie. When you hear it, tell people that is a lie. Explain to them where 300 of those likely came from. Again, guys get mad in a bar, they run outside, shoot at each other, one goes in the car, shoots at each other. They have some kind of little barbecue, a house party, a street party. In fact, last year, and I'll talk about that in my book, one of the mass shootings that they talked about was celebratory gunfire from July 4th. That's right. 300,000 people, or whatever number it was, people were gathered in a huge July 4th gathering. I want to say it was maybe in Kansas City area, but I could be wrong. And people shot up in the air to celebrate. What goes up must come down. The bullets came down. 4 people were magically hit. Nobody was shot. All the rounds came down and hit people. Guess what they classified that as? You got it. A mass shooting. Because 4 people got hit by bullets. That's showing you the lies of the Gun Violence Archive. It's a money machine for them. And they got people like these clowns out there just celebrating the fact that we had 324, knowing damn well that it's a lie. All right, perpetrators, so that is the raw truth so far on this Mormon killing up in Michigan. If any of this triggered you, good. It means you're paying attention. We're at the point now where we should stop just going, I told my wife earlier, that's why I don't want to go anywhere. I would say this. If you go anywhere, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm giving you personal advice. Hear what I'm saying and read between the lines. First of all, get you a membership at Attorneys on Retainer. Go to attorneysonretainer.us, sign up for a membership, use my code FTATF to get a little money off. Now, once you're a member of AOR, you take your safety into your own hands. Is there a sign on the door that says no guns or no firearms allowed? Listen what I'm telling you. You take your safety into your own hands. Do you hear what I'm saying? I know you can read the sign, but do you hear what I'm saying? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to take your safety into your own hands. That's all. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's hanging around.